Recording started.
What's up, everybody? My name is B-Max78, aka Brandon. Tonight, this is episode 11 of the Anime Dojo. We're going to be going into the Hell's Paradise, the last episode, episode 13. I will say this episode leaves more to be desired, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm alongside Chris. How you doing this evening, Chris?
I'm doing good, bro.
Before we get into this episode, folks, as we're talking at this open bit, we're going to go through some news that happened out of AX this weekend. A lot of big things happened out of AX, but I'm going to hit three big points, and one deals with Jujutsu Kaisen. So go ahead and get episode 13 of Hell Paradise as we're talking about this. Chris, I sent you the Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 opening earlier this afternoon, which I just found out because I found a YouTube video said it got leaked. First question, do you believe it got leaked, or do you believe it just somebody just put it out there?
Honestly, that looks like a leak because watching it on the medium that I watched it on, it looked like they had some maybe improved graphics and everything. So I'm anxious to see if that's the actual one or not.
I agree with you. It felt like a leak, and I was just like, when you texted me about the improved graphics, I'm like, yeah, that looks really weird. I'm always weary though, because with leaks, usually it's one of those weird things, and more for gaming than anything else. Is it ends up getting leaked out from somebody who took a screenshot, somebody who took a picture, somebody who got a little bitty video on their phone that looks kind of grainy, but it's not the final product. So I'm kind of just like, this feels so weird. But at the same time, it looked amazing and it felt good. I don't know. It looked amazing. I will say it is out on Twitter. The place I had found it was a Twitter account that's like a fan page. But I'm wondering, we won't see the full thing soon enough because it comes out July 6th anyway. So there's still some time to see the actual full opening. Based on what I heard for Jujutsu Kaisen, this seems like it's going to start kind of in the past and then go through the future. What do you think about that? Because they had the movie, which is Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Well, maybe that's what they're doing. They're going to recap a little bit about the movie, bring out the finer points in it that they're going to make the new season.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel like they're aiming to do.
Okay. So going from that that's happened at the end of AX this week, we got two more announcements. One is that we are getting, it was officially confirmed that Rise of the Shield Hero season 3 is going to be coming out in October. I'm big. Me and Chris are pretty big. Not big fans. We are fans of Rise of the Shield Hero. I've read the first couple books of the manga. What do you think about? We finally got it fully confirmed for October. Where's season 2 left off? Do you think this is going to be a really interesting continuation of the story, or how do you think that's going to play out?
Honestly, I haven't finished the second season, so with that in mind, it's like, well, the reason I stopped was because I kind of lost interest in it. However, for them to have a third season means that at some point in the second season it picks back up.
Yes.
So therefore, it might be worthy to be watched.
Okay. I'm like you. Mostly the beginning of season 2. For context, I have finished season 1 and season 2. For season 2 of Shield Hero, it starts off super slow and kind of tedious. The back half gets better. It leaves you on a wholesome note for the most part. But at the same time, like, how do you make a season 3 out of this? So I'm be interested to see what they do. But overall, I'm kind of worried because it didn't get as much, I think, publicity as it probably would have thought. Because the first season was pretty good. Season 2, at the beginning, slow. Back half was good, but it was kind of still mid. overall, I need to wait and see kind of thing. But the last big thing we want to talk about is something me and Chris did not expect. And I texted Chris about this, and I think Chris knows where I'm going. We are getting an Ikase of Harley Quinn and the Joker, made by WB Japan, and I think it's WIT Studios in Japan as well. It's a collab. When I heard this, I'm like, when you texted me, you said you said in the text, you're like, this is a joke, right? I'm like, no, there's no joke. And I sent him the screenshots they sent out and a little preview video, and he was like, this might be pretty decent. The only thing I'm wondering, Chris, how are they gonna make an Ikase about Joker and Harley Quinn? And how do you make it make sense?
Well, let's rewind for a minute, because I believe this is the same partnership studio that did the new Justice League and Ruby.
I think so. Yes, I think they is. Also, thank you for mentioning this. It is going to be directed by the guy who made the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. I did hear that is confirmed.
So if that is the same studio with the guy that's done Jujutsu Kaisen, then I can actually see that it's going to be actually really good. Because DC is no stranger to letting people make their movies R-rated if they feel that they want to or need to. And then the storyline that they did for Justice League and Ruby was not that bad, especially for it to be cut in what is only in its first part. So I can actually see that it can be done right, and so I think it's going to be done interesting. But to answer your question, it's really you're really just dropping Harley Quinn and Joker into the fantasy portion of an Ikase.
Okay. Yeah.
So just imagine them wreaking havoc with magical powers and rare devices and loot. And then who knows what kind of abilities that they will pick.
That's true. That is true. It was a cool idea, and I think I agree with you. Everything you said makes sense. My only other concern, if you're not an anime fan, but you are a DC fan, and you're a fan of the Joker and Harley Quinn and I said the title wrong. So it's the other part that kind of weirded me out. It's a Suicide Squad Ikase. So the other part of that, the Suicide Squad has their other members. And how are you going to incorporate those other members into the Ikase? Because they basically just showed Joker and Harley Quinn, but they say Suicide Squad, so we're going to see Deadshot. We're going to see the Shark Dude. We're going to see everybody who's been in the Suicide Squad. I'm going to be interested if you played the Suicide Squad games or understand the Suicide Squad movie. You want to make sure these characters can fit in that kind of weird world. If they fit right, I think it'll be fun. If it's really just off-putting, I think a lot of fans will be turned off. So my question with that is, how do you think the first couple episodes should be more DC focused with small bits of the Ikase stuff in there, like the fantasy world and all that kind of stuff, and then as we get through the next couple, like middle of the season, maybe early season, mid season, we really get into the Ikase fantasy world, all that kind of stuff?
Well, if you want to be realistic, DC has already kind of done a Ikase by themselves. The Batman animated movie where he goes back in time and he's a ninja. That's probably the closest you could say that DC has done. And if they, so that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't have to stick with DC with DC characteristics as long as they keep the character personalities on point.
Okay.
Only because DC has already expanded their universe to include a lot of different scenarios.
Yeah, because they did the old. I think it's the early 2000s movie. I think there's an early 2000s movie with Batman and the Ninja Turtles. There's a couple other movies where they've done things with other characters in the universe of other universes, so it has a precedent for it. I think we both saw the announcement when I sent you that announcement. I was just like, wow. Now you know anime is getting kind of big when DC is saying, "Hey, we're going to work with Ruby, like you mentioned. We're going to work with a company that makes ikeseis. We're going to have the guy who's done Jujutsu Kaisen direct it. That tells me that we can see a lot more crossovers eventually. So then
this could be a really smart move done by DC, because let's be honest, like DC movies, the actual real life movies are kind of trash.
Bad. They're
However,
bad.
their animated movies are actually really good.
Yes, they are.
So it only makes sense that they would want to partner up with a anime studio to kind of give a new edge to their their animated series and shows.
Mm-hmm. And then, so my last question, as I finish this part up, do you see any other studios like Marvel, like I don't know, like the Fast and Furious, I don't know, like um those are like top big two that come to mind. I could even go with like the Ninja Turtles. Do you see things like that getting into the anime world and doing their own anime adaptations with another property?
That would be interesting. Like, let's see DC partner with Mappa.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Because
I'll be
low
down for
key they
that.
can definitely do, bro. If they let Mappa do a Batman series, can you realize how dope that would be?
That'd be dark. They can make it dark too. They can make it very dark and
They
actually
can
make
make
it,
it as dark as they want to.
which makes sense. Okay, do a Batman that's dark. Do Superman as like a dark Superman version? Yes, please. I'll be down for that. Like
I
you.
mean, they kind of do. DC does have it has a few dark Superman actually. So
Yes, they do. They do.
yeah, but just to put Batman they can do all his, bro. If they really wanted to make it dark, can you imagine how dark they can make Joker?
You could make Joker as like not Jay Leno dark, but like you could probably do uh what's the guy's name before Jay Leno, or the one that did really well in the like Dark Knight movies, that kind of dark Joker, but also calculated dark. Yeah, I can see it.
But not only that, but when you look at the latest Batman movie with that Patterson guy,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
that movie was not too bad.
No, it
That
wasn't.
movie was actually kind of good.
Robert Pattinson did very well. Robert Pattinson did actually really well and did a really good job as Batman, but as like a brooding Batman who wasn't. He was serious, but he also had a
Right.
reason to be brooding, so he's not like it was overly interesting.
So if they bring that kind of darkness over into a Batman made by Mappa, bro, can you imagine like some of the villains that they could put him up against?
Oh,
Okay, so
absolutely.
you got Joker, you got Mr. Freeze, because Mr. Freeze's backstory is actually kind of sad.
Yes, it is. You got the Penguin who could
And then
like you could play a very like real penguin, like kind of like businessman penguin, but also that kind of like creepy face, doesn't really have human features anymore. Just kind of that like dark, yeah. Two-Face is in there as well.
Kind of like the Danny DeVito one.
Yep.
And then the last character we can talk about on that will be Scarecrow.
Oh, man, you could do Scarecrow so good because you could have some of the effects they could do for that, and just like his psychokinesis and the way he can go into people's minds. That would just be fun. That would just be fun.
Yeah, so that would be something interesting. Like, give all the major anime studios one DC show, and they can do it however they want to do it, as long as they stick to the character.
I think that's gonna be the one thing I'll be interested in. And it is WB. It is WB Japan that's heading this up, so it's a branch of WB, which I probably assume that they're gonna have a little bit more hands-on to how the characters are, how Joker and Harley are portrayed. But as long as they portray them well enough as what they are portrayed in their like comics and stuff, it should be fine. I'll be super surprised if they don't try to go outside the box a little bit, because I think you need to, just to make it interesting for fans of anime who don't watch DC or don't understand the characters. But everybody should know who Harley and Joker is, but that's also kind of not assumed either.
I think the trick is that they're also releasing these shows in Japan as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So the studios there have to do an audience testing to make sure that they can make their funds too. That's going to be the political offset.
That was pretty much all out of AX, because AX ended as of today. The one thing I'm gonna mention with AX, and I'm gonna say this because we both went to A-Kon and people have been talking about it. I've seen video from it, which is kind of bad. And I don't know if you've seen any video, but so AX does a thing where they don't do a cap on how many tickets they sell. A-Kon kind of does to a point. They'll I think you saw it the last couple weeks before A-Kon, where they said they only had 300 something tickets left for full day pricing, but you can still buy it on site and stuff.
Right.
If you saw some of these videos, the lobby was shoulder to shoulder, and people were everywhere. And it's funny. I want to go to X one day, but with that many people around, it just seems like it's not worth it, because you're waiting in line for a couple hours to get your badge or something, or you're waiting in line for a panel for a long period of time. So it's not really. You don't like to do all. You only get to do a few things. AX and Comic-Con have the same kind of interesting thing. Do you think AX has gotten too big for what it is now? Because AX seems like it's gotten really big, and it's really one of the biggest cons everybody want to go to, but yet it seems like it's too crowded.
I think that may be because of the location that they're deciding to have it at.
Yeah, LA doesn't really help.
The location demographic. Yeah. I mean, not to mention, look at the demographic of the area that they're in. You probably have a lot more people who are into cosplay or even costume design in California rather than you do in Texas.
Correct. So
the turnout yes. So you can almost expect the turnout to be that way. Think about it this way: if A-Kon sold out of all of their tickets every year for the next 3 years, then that means they have no choice but to move to a bigger venue.
Correct.
So as the demographic for those type of things grow, So so will the locations and the things that they do and stuff like that.
The only reason I bring it up, it just feels like Akon knew after. I know I've been, and I'll say this as a person who's been almost nine years. This will next year will be my 10th. But it's Akon has figured out, hey, we had to keep moving up because it kept being so big. But they found a place in Irving that really fits what they want to do, because you have the food places, you have the convention center, you have a couple hotels right around each other, you have Toys and Music Factory, which you can use as a place to do concerts or stuff. So it never feels crazy. Out of all 3 days, I think Saturday is the most crazy, but Saturday is the most crazy because it's weekend, everybody's off, so you're gonna have influx of people, but you can still get around.
Okay, well, Mahalia gave me this idea some time ago when me and her were talking about Akon. Cause what if they had Akon at the Gaylord?
So Gaylord Texan, I could see it. The only thing is, and I'll let you finish your point before I say it. Go ahead and finish what you were gonna say.
So basically, having it at the Gaylord, they have enough rooms for any and everybody who wants to come there. They have enough convention rooms and ballrooms to have anything and everything in. Then they have enough business rooms to conduct like literally Akon could have their entire event there without outsourcing any other third party.
Okay. I agree with you on that. The thing is, and the thing I'm gonna bring up, and I hate to like douse on your parade. I don't want to do that, but Akon went to the Atoll. You know where the Atoll is in Dallas? The really nice one.
But
Off of 35, going toward
the Hilton Atoll.
Correct, Hilton Atoll. I shouldn't have said the Hilton part. So they did the Hilton Atoll a couple years ago. Like I think it was 2015, 2016, somewhere in there, and it worked out. But also, San Antonio was really nice, and it ended up kind of was bad because people got kind of rowdy, things got kind of out of hand, and eventually, I don't remember if things got broken or anything, but it kind of got I think they handled it kind of got. It was way too nice for what the convention was about, and ended up kind of being a little bit of a problem because there was like nice statues and all that kind of stuff in there. The only thing about the Gaylord,
that's where you get the problem with. I'm sorry, but that's the location of the hotel, though.
That's the thing, and I don't disagree with that. So if they ever did the Gaylord, it would probably be the same problem, but I think it's handled better now than it is because you're in the West End's a very nice hotel, one of probably the nicest around. It's a Marriott hotel. You're also in your Urban Convention Center, which is a really nice convention center. So then they have fixed that problem. I'm just going to be interested to see. I think the thing is, it's hard because this anime and cosplay and the convention is so, I'm not going to say niche, I think still not in the mainstream enough to where it's really respected by a lot of other groups. I think certain hotels have gotten better at like understanding what it's about, convention centers, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's still kind of one of those things where, yeah, this is weird.
Well, yeah, of course, the Dallas demographic is not as open as it is in other parts of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
However, it has gotten better, especially in lieu of recent politics. So, but with that being said, when you look at the location of the Gaylord and where that's at, I don't intend for them to run into those problems.
Okay.
I'm sure the Gaylord would really cut down a really big budget if they think they're gonna sell out their entire resort.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the other thing about I think conventions like this nowadays. I think there should be a way to figure out, hey, this convention is going on. How can we make it more friendly for convention goers and the area looks great? Because the one thing about LA, people have said LA it's in a weird spot where none of the food, you would have to go outside of LA to get food probably because the food in the convention is not great. But if within the middle area of LA, it's gonna be crowded, so it's gonna be taking a while to get food and stuff. So I think Irving does a really good job about one thing. I think they picked a place where everything's around each other and it's not as bad, but at the same time, I bet you they're getting a deal on Irving Convention a little bit because they've been using it so well, you know. I don't know if that sounds crazy. Please tell me I sound crazy, but you know.
No, you don't sound crazy, but I mean it could work. I mean, we just have to think carefully and on making it work. It's just one of those things that have to be well thought out.
Yeah, it does. And I'll be interested in the next like 5-10 years where or a couple, not 5-10 years, maybe 2 or 3, where anime finally sits. Because AX most people don't know this, but AX used to move around. It used to be touring. It used to be like in London. It used to be in other cities and stuff. So I think that's the other big thing that really hasn't helped it. It's been staying in LA for the past like 4 years. But then every year it's probably hit 100,000 people or more almost every year since then. We'll see. We'll see what else comes out before the summer anime season hits, like other news for fall or winter. I think we're getting some news now after AX. I think we get a bunch more in the next couple months because I think we're gonna hear a lot about the fall. Do you think so?
You said about the fall?
Do you think we hear more about the fall as we get into the summer season? Because there a lot of stuff that was talked about was fall stuff. So is that going to just be kind of the trend as we get into summer or more fall?
Well, of course, as the summer season starts to roll, maybe the second. But I'm not even going. Yeah, maybe about the third or fourth episodes of the season. You know, probably right at the end of July, you probably start hearing stuff.
Okay.
However, one of the sites that me and you were looking at, you know, whenever they hear anything, they post it on their website. And I believe their website already showed a few shows that are scheduled to come out in the fall.
Yes, they have. Yeah, so I think like Shield Heroes in the fall. The show I want to see is Overtakes in the fall. There's a good amount. Like we've already got a couple things in the pipeline for fall. Attack on Titan, which I know I'm gonna sound crazy. I'm binge watching like crazy. I was gonna wait. But I'm like, I saw that trailer. I saw how it looked. I'm like, I need to binge watch this. So I'm binge watching from season 3.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's all that stuff out. I think that's gonna be the big stuff that's really gonna make people want to get ready for the fall season. Before we get into Hell's Paradise, what have you been watching or what have you been finishing up from this season or older things?
Okay, so a quick recap on what Chris has been watching. Hold on, give me a minute.
No worries. Take your time.
And here's the funny thing: I really just got to go look on my history on Crunchyroll.
No worries.
So I am caught up with One Piece. Looks like they're finally trying to bring things to a close on this arc.
Wait, how many books are in the manga? Like 100 and something?
I do now. Now you're asking me the wrong question.
Or how
I do not know.
many episodes is in the show? Actually, it's a lot, right? Like the show has over 100 something episodes.
Whoa, no, One Piece has over 1,000 episodes.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's a lot. I was like, it's a lot because the manga is huge. I remember that. It's like one of those things. Like if you try to watch from the beginning, it would take forever.
Well, see, yeah. So I put it this way, I had started rewatching it in college.
Oh wow.
So, and in college they had just, I think they were just getting on like the Thriller Bark arc. So, and even then it was like 300 some episodes to catch up on.
Woo. Yeah. No.
And so ever since then, I had just been kind of binge watching it episode at a time. So currently, this is probably easier to do on my phone, but they have, it'd be easier to do it a lot faster on my phone. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. No worries.
I apologize to our audience.
Hey, we're looking up stuff. That's looking up live on air. That's not a bad thing. It's not easy to just kind of.
No, I mean, you want to give people correct information. And if it's available to your fingertips, then yeah, give it to them. Currently, they have over 1,067 episodes.
Woo. Woo. Yeah. Okay. That's a lot. Yep.
And that's not including the movies that they. Yeah, that's not including the movies that they have. So yeah.
Outside of One Piece, is there anything else you've been kind of keeping up with? I know I finished.
So
I Learned to Cheat Kill Another World. I finished that season 13, episode 13 of that. I'm gonna get back in Magic and Muscles because I'm only on episode 6 of that.
So yeah, so besides One Piece and all their episodes, Dr. Stone looks like they're going to end their season with 11 episodes. They left off on a cliffhanger. It was like the show was going really smooth, and then it just all of a sudden it just falls. And so it's like it's going to. I feel like they're going to have a part 2. Let's see. Me and you rewatched Jujutsu Kaisen season 1. Shout out to Fire Force. I actually had the chance to rewatch Fire Force in its entirety. I really hope they spit out a season 3. So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into episode 13 of Hell's Paradise. I'm gonna say right now, this ends on probably one of the saddest notes I think of all the episodes we've watched. And I also say this: I have never been so hyped for an episode after I saw episode 12, and I was so happy they confirmed we are getting a season 2. There's no release date for it, but they Mappa has said we are getting season 2, so that's good. I'm looking forward to where they take season 2. When you first watched this episode, Chris, what did you think of episode 13?
Man, they gave me bro. The stuff that they said in season 13 was so messed up. I couldn't believe that they were actually going to let that happen, like as a show. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, can you like the kind of mental synapses that crossed in my mind just bursted. Okay.
Yes, it.
I was like, I knew it was gonna be a twist, but Jesus.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yeah, the ending is like, oh wow, y'all really just went the other way around. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, and then we'll watch the episode. Then after we'll talk about it. Then after that, we'll kind of go into some things for talking about what we're gonna do next as we get into the next this end of the week. So, Chris, are you ready?
Almost. I had to
No worries.
leave it, but I am ready.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. Episode 13, Dreams and Reality, which is a fitting title for the ending, and I'll explain why.
The episode explains itself, man.
I love the fact they start right where we left off. So he comes out of nowhere and just cuts them all. Okay. How?
Yep.
basically saying he's gotten stronger over time.
He's learned to read their movements. He's learned to read the time, their energies.
Correct. My. Hmm.
This is still one of the best intro songs I've heard in a while.
Oh, absolutely. I think the only one that tops it for me is season. Actually, Demon Slayer this season. I think it's the second best one I've heard.
Yeah.
And I like current Jujutsu Kaisen. You've seen the one Jujutsu Kaisen things, but that's only because I think it's
Oh
fun.
yeah, the outro on for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes, it's really good too. So much wondering when she cut the flowers out his eyes. His eyes just get sucked in. His eyes just get cut out too, or the eyes are already gone.
The eyes are already gone.
Okay. I love the girl. I love the girl in the purple. She's like eyes wide, mouth wide open. She's like, how in the world is he doing this? No, there's no way.
Right, because they had been struggling. I got scars on my face. What's a few more scars?
You gotta say he don't care. I'm like, I'm gonna just cut myself and just get them all off. I'll bleed out.
Right.
But I have a purpose. I'm gonna kill you first. I don't care if I die.
Right. Now I wonder why they decided to make her look more feminine in this episode.
She does look more feminine in this episode. She looked more boyish when we first met her, which is odd. They changed the animation or the drawing.
Exactly. So I wonder why in this episode.
I thought this was kind of weird. They're talking and she's like, "Why are you going to help him? He's gonna."
Now I was like, okay, now see.
What does that mean?
Now we got to learn more about her. See, now we got to learn more about her because to be able to share your energy like that is not something everybody can do.
So it's like transferring your ton that you produce to somebody else.
Right.
There we go. She literally covered him in the poison that she uses. And that this is the scene where I was like, she licked her hand. What the? Someone was like, everybody's like, they nothing knew what they were doing. It's like, yeah, maybe, but at the same time, that's just weird.
Well, I like how she asked her, like, is that necessary to lick me? She's like, nope.
No, she's the one to do it.
I was like,
all right then. If you ever play Mortal Kombat, Chris, I think you have. The blind character reminds me of Kenshi, who's also blind in the game.
you know what? That's actually, yeah.
Because he has that same kind of like, he knows his surroundings, he's understanding what's going on, but yet he's so smart and strong, it's hard to take him down.
You're right. If you put a red blindfold on him, I would call him Kenchi.
Yeah. So what happened to Siguri? Did she overuse herself? Is that why she was waiting for the mouth? Because they never explain it.
They don't, but that's what I would assume.
Okay, that's what I thought. She kind of overdid herself, and she's like, she's she's running out of like power, basically. He literally goes like Dragon Ball Z levels of like, I am just gonna do it. I'm just going power level 9,000 and just keep going. Like,
Right.
jeez, he doesn't even stop. So it's amazing.
And then she still had his back after that.
So he channels the waves in his body to temper the blade. But I love this part here, which is really interesting.
Better hurry up, bruh.
Yep. He, I love the fact they say the middle of the flower where the little bulb is, it's his weakness. And that makes sense because flowers have bulbs. That's where they store nutrients from pollen and
Yep.
stuff. I love that. Just
And then even he admits he had perfect yin and yang.
yes, he does. And then it gets destroyed like flower petals. And then flowers grow in its place. The metaphor, my word. I thought this was savage, but she pretty much says, I need to let the guy who has all the knowledge die and save the guy that can fight. But then I love Sigrid goes,
What?
can't you split the doses? And she goes, yeah, no, because I need to save some for myself.
That was a realistic survivalist answer, though. So,
which makes sense.
and
She's
I mean, it's logically, the one person who, like, but she's right though. Why would you give medicine to the person least likely to make it if that's all you got? Like it's cold, but in the atmosphere that they in, it makes sense.
and then this just hit home for me. I was gonna tear up when I saw this part because she goes from that to going, think about something in your family, think about a pet, think about a cat, think about anything. Don't be so prideful. Think about whatever you want. And then he just kind of makes him feel at peace. He's thinking about her. He's thinking about everything, his paintings, his drawings. And she acts like a priest in a sense, which is weird to say. Like she's acting like a priest where I'm gonna help you feel relaxed before you pass. That is
Hey
amazing.
man, I mean,
That's amazing.
that showed her humanity.
Yes, it did.
She's like, yeah.
I love that line from Siguri. You are no longer criminals. All I want to do is make sure we all get out of this place alive. So she basically just saying, screw the job and let's get out of here. I don't care anymore.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's just
But
awesome.
this part though,
Yes, this is where it gets really weird. By the way, we're getting deeper into Hore, the center of the circle, basically, and now they're heading to this like building place, this like palace. I love that. She goes, "Why would a guy wear that?" So they're still playing that she's a dude. It's awesome.
you're right.
Which is funny.
The topic of conversation, ain't it?
Yeah. That was kind of creepy when they showed this dude just carrying the guy's head with it still talking.
Pointing him in the right direction.
Mhm. I was like, why'd you put her in that outfit? Like, are you really just kind of playing off the fact she's like a beautiful young girl, lady? Like, what? Y'all literally going like super levels of like outfit.
Yeah.
What?
But look how she dressed herself though.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's what broke the net. That's what broke the bank. Now that was a scary image.
Very. That line kind of killed me when she says, "It's only been the third night here." If it felt like a week.
For real, bro. I'm like, y'all been on out 3 days and all that then happened.
Man, that's bad.
For real. Man.
Where do I start? This episode starts off with the battle we left off on. Which, by the way, everything we saw this season, probably one of the best battles of the season. Do you agree with that?
I can't agree with that. Yeah.
So we have the battle. We have the young girl, the master, Siguri, the dude with the glasses, and the ninja girl. So they're doing the fight. The ninja girl's out the fight. She and the guy with the glasses is about to die. We figure out that as more energy you store up, you get stronger. He's figured out the waves. He's figured out all this stuff. So now we figured out that you can build your taunt up. When they said that revelation, Chris, what did you think when you said you can build up your taunt and make you stronger?
Well, we knew it was a way to build time because that's what they were using the other girl for, the girl in pink.
Correct.
So, but the fact that she has the one girl has the ability to kind of raises eyebrows. Like, okay,
Yeah. So then we have the fight. We have the battle. They're getting the blind guy's getting beat up. He's getting met. He's bleeding everywhere. He's about to die. Siguri and the young girl help by getting the poison from the ninja girl. They use it to kind of quell the monster. The blind master finally gets up to where he needs to go break these two torsos. And then right at the end, you hear the guy with the glasses go, "It's not the torsos. It's the little bulb in the middle, like a flower that has a bulb to store nutrients." You destroy that, Then the flower dies. So so he builds up the energy, destroys the bulb, and the bulb is happy to be destroyed. He was like, "I've been waiting 1,000 years to pass, and thank you." What do you think about that? Because that kind of tells me about these souls, these gods, or whatever this thing is, whatever things are, don't are tortured souls, basically.
But when if you're looking at it from Dante's Inferno versions, then technically yes. Like these are the demons that hunt the halls of hell. However, they themselves are just tortured souls beyond all recognition.
Mm-hmm. So then, once he figured that out, they take down the monster, and I love the imagery here. So the imagery was he takes down the monster, the water pours out from the flower combined thing, and then it makes flowers all around. So it grows new flowers, kind of saying new life has been formed. But then we have this touching scene with Siguri and the ninja girl. The ninja girl's like, "Well, here's the problem. We can only save one of them. I only have enough. I only have one thing of medicine left. Well, I'd rather save the master because he's going to be more useful over time." Siguri's like, "Well, can't you split the medicine?" She says no because I need some for myself as well. What you think about the ninja girl here? This is the first part of it. She's I know at the first couple episodes of the season, we both were like, she's kind of not great. But now she's kind of weird, but now she's more logical. She has more thought process and all that. And she has more intelligence than she gives off. What do you think about this first part of that scene?
I think they stuck true to her character throughout the entire season. Like we know she's in here for herself, and but she also knows when to let other people's lead when she knows when to let other people lead, especially when things come to her own life. So she'll only do things that seem like they're out of kindness, but then in the end, she's only going to do things if she can benefit from them.
Correct. I do agree with that. But then we go to something else. So then she sits by the guy with the glasses, and they, she consoles him, says, "Think of whatever you want. Take away your pride, and just think about family. Think about a cat. Think about anything else." And she holds him by the neck, like she grabs her, puts her hand behind his neck, and just holds his neck sitting up, kind of like sitting up, so he sits up straight. And he goes to this like thing of like making a drawing of her and him to like standing together, kind of hugging or something. And he starts to cry. Two things that gave me indications of: one, he did actually like her without verbally saying it, but two, this is the other half of her arc from this episode. She is literally consoling him as he's on his deathbed. And she might not tell you she cared for him, but she actually did care for him.
Called it.
You did call that. And my word, it was so powerful. Even you could see her, she didn't tear up anything, but you could see her look like, "I know you're going to die, but I'll help you pass peacefully." Like this, like you say, this girl is for herself, but she also knows when to help others. She also knows when to do things for the team. So then they're sitting there talking. She's holding the head of the tree thing, and they are kind of figuring out what they need to do next. And Siguri says, "Thank you" to the ninja girl. She says, "Thank you for calming me down." and having me had a clear mind. So she even starting to like Siri's starting to like her, and Siri's figured out you're good for the team. I can trust you now. I hate to say it, I'm enjoying the Ninja Girl. She's gotten a lot better. At the same time, I have a weird hunch something's gonna horribly happen to her. And I don't want to be that way, but I have a weird hunch she's
So
gonna.
let's not wish anything bad, but
But
whatever's gonna happen is gonna suck.
yeah, like I have a weird hunch something bad's gonna happen to her because she's so good. Like it's weird. And one thing about this series, they haven't killed off a lot of characters, but when they've killed off characters, they make you feel for them. So it has
Yeah, man, because they didn't have to do my man Simpson doing all like that.
no, oh, absolutely not. So then they walk on. They go deeper into whoring. They find this palace or this building, and they stay there. So then they stay there. They change clothes and everything. The ninja girl calls the other girl a boy, which that's still gonna be that's probably gonna be a running joke in season 2, for the most part.
Right.
Then the master guy, the blind master, and Siguri talk about, is your time building up? Are you getting stronger through the island? We need to figure out what's going on. So they kind of have a little talk. Then Siguri asked about Gabimaru and hope he is okay. And I hope Gabimaru gets back alive so we can see his wife again. Before I get to this next part, I want to mention something. Siguri says something when they're finished with the battle, and she goes, I don't care anymore. Even though you're criminals, even though you've done bad things, all we need to do is get off this island by whatever means necessary. So I'm screw my job, screw what I need to have to do. We're gonna try to get home. Basically, putting this now
But
into survival of the fittest, in a sense.
I think that's also a bit of her guilt now. The fact that the fact that she may or may not how can I put it, like she feels the guilt because Gabimaru's wife may not be real.
Yes.
And the fact that he's come so far as a person in belief of his wife, she feels guilt for kind of pushing the idea that she cares for him, even if that's not the case.
So now let's get to the part of the back half of this episode. So they're talking about this house. Ninja Girl goes, wait, do you know his wife's name? Have you met the wife? He's in Jiu-Jitsu, correct? And she's like, yeah. She didn't like Singer didn't spawn about he's in Jiu-Jitsu. Well, in Jiu-Jitsu, they do weird things where they make illusions. Illusions? She's like, wait, illusions? What do you mean? The chief does a powerful thing to make an illusion to make it feel like they're immortal. Or they do something to make it feel like they have all the power with fear or whatever. So then they show the chief that Gabimaru was under. And they show the scene, because we've seen the scene a couple times, where he takes the sword and puts it through the top of his head. And I'm going to mention this callback, and this is going to be a weird callback, so bear with me. We've seen the blonde-haired dude of the brothers. They show a flashback when the blonde-haired dude was in that situation with all the bandits. And he literally takes that knife and cuts his own eye out. And he goes, if you want to add more scars, go right ahead. I think this is the same thing with the chief. In the sense, the chief's like, I'm willing to hurt myself so you believe in me. Do you agree, Chris?
Yes. That's actually exactly how it turned out.
So then the ninja girl goes, for women, they do that to keep them under wraps. And she also says young men under the ninjutsu island don't usually get married. And Siguri's like, wait, what? So they're just born to be, and she doesn't say they're born to be killers, but we are. Then she finally says, oh wait, he's a killer, so he's always been a killer. She says it later. Then then we go to Gabimaru, who just woke up from something. before we get into this deeper, what do you think about that whole conversation? Because Siggy was surprised the Ninja Girl knew so much.
Honestly, man, it was like, how can I put it? I don't think either one of them were ready for what was going to unfold.
No,
And
absolutely
then
not.
to her, and then I think the thing that kind of, and the fact is that Gabimaru at that moment, he thinks he's back to square one basically.
Yes.
He doesn't know where he's at, who he's with, and he thinks he's fooling everybody, but the girl in pink, she knows.
Yes. So then
She knows something wrong.
So we see him wake up, and the guy in green goes, "Are you okay? Why you jump like a cat? Like he jumped like a cat, like he's startled by something. Relax." And then he kind of goes through his thought process. He says, "Where am I? Where are we at?" The guy in the yellow dude with the blonde hair goes, "We're at a small cave because we had to get out of there. So the green guy carried you all the way there." And then Mina asks, "Is he okay?" She kind of sees his Taun, and half his face is missing. So this is a creepy scene. Like half his face in Taun form is missing. Basically saying half his soul, his brain is missing.
Yeah, like something is off.
So then he tries to remember why he's there. So he remembers his wife, but he don't see a face. He remembers other parts, but he can't see things. They look kind of fuzzy. They look like TV static, basically. Then then they cut back to Siguri. My question is this part of the brainwashing, Chris, or does he actually have a concussion? Because I think he got concussed after that battle. Because the only reason I say that is because the blind master says, if you use too much of your Taun, you will start feeling ill. You'll start feeling sick. You'll start not feeling right. But after you use so much, you could die. So you think it's a mixture of he used too much?
But then
Go ahead.
he also had a few flashbacks to remind you that he did think that he was suffering from memory impairment.
Yes, he was.
And and I went back and I had watched the first episode, and yeah, he was saying he doesn't remember a lot of stuff. He doesn't remember how and why he even got into the state that he was. So and all he knew was that the old man had betrayed him.
Okay.
So it's almost like when she showed up and started talking about his wife again, it's almost like she activated a sleeper cell.
So you activated the code word to
You see
wake
where
him
I'm
back.
coming from?
You activated the code word to wake him back up.
Right.
And now that code word is gonna make him turn back to a killer, pretty much.
Exactly.
Man, that would be. So then we cut back to Siguri. She's sitting outside the little building. The master that's blind walks out. She's like, "Why are you wearing those clothes? My other clothes are too bloody, so I need to change." And she doesn't react. She kind of like doesn't take the quip or anything. She's kind of and even goes, "You usually like my jokes, but you're not. You're okay." And I'm fine. You're good. You're as witty as ever. It's just I'm having this. I'm having this brain. Like she's like basically, I can't think about what I just heard from the Ninja Girl. She's thinking about that, but she doesn't think about Gabimaru. And she goes, "There's no way Gabimaru would just go back to being a killer if he really cared about his wife. He wants to get back." And she goes, "I don't believe it." And then I think and right before she said, "I don't believe it," he goes, "Do you like him?" The master goes, "Do you like him?" And he's like, "No, not in the slightest. But I have seen what this man can do, and there's no way he's like this." I love the fact
And
that
then that's when that guilt starts to sit in.
yes, and that's where Sigrid kind of guilty. Like, was I lied to this whole time, or is there something more to this I don't know? So then the ending shot of this is Sigrid says, I hope he can get back his way and he can get back home to his wife. Then the final shot is where Gabby Mario is sitting outside the cave, just staring out into the middle distance. And I love the camera work here. Camera work, whatever you want to call it. And they cut in front of Gabby Mario, and they're just staring at his face while the wind's blowing in his hair, and his eyes are just darted out. Eyes don't blink, they don't even move. He is just focused like all get out. And it might be like one of the creepiest things you've ever seen.
Yeah, because he's really right now he's like a wild animal in a whole new area. And then he already knows that he can kill the people there.
Yes, he can.
So it's like I said before, he's back at square one. The question is, we just don't know exactly what square one is.
Yes, we don't know what square one is. So I'm gonna ask you this. Seeing that ending, knowing the fact that Midna knows something's up, but nobody else does out of the group. Knowing the fact that Secret is feels guilt, and knowing she feels like he's gone back to his killer ways, but she don't even know it yet. Knowing the fact that Ninja Girl also knows something's up about him, but it's only because she's been a part of that clan herself. Do you think we in the next arc we get a bunch of just like Gagmore goes off the rails for a bit until Minna, the Ninja Girl, or Siguri knocks him out of it?
Man, like the purple girl, the she might know a way to bring him back. She might. However, will he allow her to do that though?
Mm-hmm. This is one of the best episodes I think they've done this season. And yet, he left us on a massive cliffhanger.
Man.
And if you didn't say we're gonna make a season 2, I think everybody been like, "Really? If you don't make a season 2, we would have been mad." But then they announced we're making a season 2.
Right.
I cannot wait for season 2 because now you have me intrigued, Mappa. Keep done with Jujutsu Kaisen, get that out of the way. Get Attack on Titan out of the way. Once you get both those out of the way, all you can focus on is Hell's Paradise. I cannot wait for the animation. I cannot wait for how much they're going to do for that. So I have one question for you, Chris.
Ooh.
What would you give this episode? And then what would you give this season? Give me the episode first.
For the episode, I give it a 9.7.
Ooh. Explain.
Because you gave us, like, okay, firstly, the information that you learned about the character is so disheartening. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it's like when you really start to think about how messed up that is, that's truly just messed up.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
So, however, and then the fight scene, I think was really good and really drawn out. So, but I like how they gave the since you don't know, I like how they gave him a nice farewell scene.
Yes, they gave.
So that's why I give it a 9.7.
I would agree with you. I would go 9.7. I think they gave the fight scene was amazing. The background of the story was good. They gave the Asamon that died a really good send off. You left it with a big cliffhanger, which you've done a couple times this season, which is fine. I think you just have paid off right the beginning next season. Um, so give me your rating for the season.
For the season, I give Hell's Paradise a 9.6.
Ooh, okay, not a 10. All right, go ahead. Why?
I felt like they held out information for episodes for no reason now. Because we were
Explain.
waiting episode by episode for new information, but you only gave us more twists. So I personally feel like you could have gave us better hints throughout the other episodes.
So you feel like they didn't do a good job. Okay, so you feel like they didn't do a good job of they gave us a bunch of questions at the beginning, then they gave us an episode where they answered a bunch of questions, but then they left out a bunch of things and that kind of makes a lot of sense. Had another episode where they answered a bunch of questions, but then ultimately left us with little of nothing. Kind of
Exactly.
making us wait. I do agree with that. I also agree that it kind of got annoying at points, but also here's the thing: when you keep us intrigued like that, it's the old adage of give a dog a bone, they're gonna want more. They're gonna get you give a dog a bone, they're gonna want more. You you drip feed stuff to people, they're gonna want more. So like, it's the
And
thing
that's
of
true.
yeah, go ahead.
I was saying that's true. So I was just saying, like, I just felt like maybe I could have spread it out a little bit more.
Yes, they could have done that. In 13 episodes, they could have spread it out a little bit more. I think it's the thing of like they're just trying to get this first arc over, but also don't extend it too long because they don't want to do like Demon Slayer did, where they did like 26 episodes for the first arc, where you have all this like
True.
backstory and all this. I think between 13 and 15, I think are a good like jumping point for a first arc if you can make it make sense. More than that, I think you
Yeah,
get
I can
kind of
agree with that.
you get overloaded. But on my
Yeah,
end,
I agree with that.
I would give this about the same 9.6 for the season. The only thing I would probably change, there's only two things I would change. I think the pacing is the big thing, but also I think you needed, I think episode 10 was the one that gave you all the information, the biggest information dump. I think you could split that into two episodes. I think you could have done 9 and 10 or 10 and 11, where you split that all the information in 10, because that's the biggest information you get. You get a lot of stuff about Ton, what's about all that stuff back to back to back so fast in so many different people. I think you could have split that up where maybe the 9 episode you get it from the master. In 10, you get it from the other two groups. And it doesn't feel so much so fast. And I'm not saying dumb
Exactly.
down. I'm not saying dumb down the episodes for people because I don't think that's what you should do. But I think you could just spread it out a little bit, enough to get people understanding, so people can be digest it better. I know with anime, it's boom, 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 boom. It's so fast. It is. We're going 100 miles an hour for a good bit, and then we'll slow down for a bit. But then we'll give you one episode where we just drop the whole, like the whole bomb on you in one episode, and then we're gonna be like, I hope you got all that, and you just go back to 100 miles an hour. That's kind of bad
Right.
when people don't have the understanding of like, well, wait, we don't even know what you told us in the first couple miles at the beginning, and now we're at a stop, we're at a midpoint where you're just dropping all this information, and then we're gonna keep going again. Well, what? Explain the stuff before we go to the continue on this journey. I think that was the only big thing, but other than that, I can't fault anything else. I This is one of the best fall or spring anime seasons we've ever had. I think so far. I'm looking forward to summer, but this spring anime season was amazing.
Indeed.
So let's say this. I hope you've been enjoying the Anime Dojo so far. Now we're heading into the summer season. Ladies and gentlemen, this is get ramped up from here. Because as of July 6th, this Thursday, by the way, we're getting Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 1. We are going to watch that. We're also going to be watching, remind me of the title, Chris, because I always forget it. As I can think of it in my head, I can't say the title.
It's called Dead Mount Death Play.
There we go. Dead Mount Death Play. We're going to be watching that this next cover summer anime season. Right now, if you're an anime fan, we're eating well, in the sense that we've gotten so much good. This is probably one of the best times to get into anime, and I bet Chris would agree.
And I do.
So I'm gonna say this right now. If you haven't watched Tales of Paradise, now that's over, I implore you to go back and check this one out. It might take a bit to understand, but I honestly will say this. I think you can watch this in English and nobody would care. Because the English voice acting is amazing and it gives you the answers at once. That's the one thing with this show I think probably helped us out a lot, is we ended up watching all the English episodes up to this point. And it gave us the answers we wanted. But yeah, that's the end of this fall season, the spring season for this spring. We're getting into summer now. The only thing I can say, I'm gonna ask this question, Chris. If you had to tell somebody what anime you should watch from the spring season of the stuff you have watched, what would be the two you would give somebody?
Man, it's the two we've been talking about, man. Between Hell's Paradise and Demon Slayer, man, those are the two that you can literally binge watch without getting bored at any time.
Yes, I agree with that. I also will give, which I haven't finished yet, but I'm going to. I would give a special mention to Matching Muscles. I think that's just one that's just funny and like a palate cleanser. If you don't want something super serious, because Demon Slayer and Hell's Paradise are really kind of serious animes, I think Magic Muscles will break that for you. Any of the ikaseis that have been out this year, this spring season, as of I gained a cheat skill in another world, and I got overpowered in the real world, or when Kristen mentioned all that kind of stuff. I think those are stuff that you can just sink your teeth into. But yeah, we will be back next Tuesday to start the summer season. I hope you all have enjoyed. I hope you all are keeping up with it. I'm gonna keep putting these on the YouTube channel and on Spotify as well, so you have them in both places. I do thank you for all the support on YouTube, watching the gameplays, watching this. I thank for Chris for doing this with me. We're gonna keep doing this. We both love it. We both enjoy it. It's a way to get out the conversation and stuff. You can tweet me at BL McClendon if you have any thoughts about what this anime season was about, the spring season, or what do you think of the summer season. We're just gonna be rolling into summer, rolling into the warm days of summer with some good anime and good friends. So I hope you're along for the ride. And we'll see you. We will see you next week. I do thank you for watching. I do thank you for listening. Chris, thank you for joining me. And we will hear from you next time. See ya.
See ya.